KC. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in, and welcome back to another Chicago Bears preview. I'm going to do these the entire season before each and every Bears game, and as well as I'm going to do reactions to each and every Bears game as well. And this week, the Bears are on the roll again to take on the reigning, defending Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs. Can they sneak an upset in this game? We'll discuss that in this video. But without further ado, let's dive into it. We're going to look at the Chicago Bears offense going up against the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Now, the Bears offense, let's just say it's not been great all season. It is not what we've expected coming into the year, and it just has not looked good. Now, of course, Justin Fields, in my opinion, I've always said this with him coming out of Ohio State, he has a tendency to hold the football too long. And on top of that, the Bears are going to be in this game without Braxton Jones for at least the next 4 weeks with that neck injury. So with the offensive line that's already struggling, Tevin Jenkins is already on IR. Now you have your starting left tackle, even though he hasn't been playing the greatest in my opinion, and a guy like Braxton Jones out. You're going up against Chris Jones, who is one of the premier defenders in this league, not just defensive tackles, one of the premier defenders in the league. And you're also going up against George Karlaftis, who I think can do some things, especially with a guy like Braxton Jones gone. Now, it's going to be, I want to say, somewhat of a difficult task for the Bears to run a football with Chris Jones in the middle if they do not scheme up different ways to execute the running game, whether it's some outside plays, whether it's finally using Justin Fields' athleticism as a weapon. One thing I would love to see this Bears offense do, period, can you throw a little bit of an option game to have something that teams will have to defend, so you can use Justin Fields' athleticism as more of a weapon? I'm not saying necessarily let him take a bunch of hits, but something to get this running game going. I think you could use a little bit of an option. That's just my opinion. I want to love what you guys think about that. If the Bears should actually incorporate some option in their offense, I want to love you guys' thoughts in the comments, but I really feel like the Bears should incorporate at least some type of an option game. It's not necessarily prevalent in the NFL, but maybe it's just to give the defense a different look, especially with your passing game, which has been struggling to say the least. I would love to see more rollouts, especially with a guy like Chris Jones up the middle. Move the pocket for Justin Fields with a struggling offensive line, and an offensive line that's already out Tevin Jenkins and out Braxton Jones now. I really feel the Bears need to move the pocket in order to have more success, I feel, in the passing game. With Khalil, Herbert running the football, Roschon Johnson, who I love what he's been doing over the past 2 weeks. I would love to see more of the moving the pocket to get not just some simple completions for Fields to get his confidence going, some different protections for your offensive line so they're not asked to hold blocks for 3 to 4 seconds when they're already struggling, and you're going up against one of the premier defensive tackles and a guy like a Chris Jones. I would just like to see different concepts executed by this Bears offense. And the defense for the Kansas City Chiefs, I've always said it was been a question mark, but they've been proving me wrong. L'Jarius Sneed has made some plays in their secondary. A guy like Trent McDuffie has really started to come on and make some plays in the secondary as well for them. So I've liked some of the things that they've been doing as far as that. Now, Nick Bolton is going to be a question mark for the Chiefs, as well as Willie Gadd, the linebacker position. So that is going to be a huge question mark coming into this game for this Chiefs defense, as is their linebackers going to be healthy going into this game. I would love to see if they are, and if the Bears have any type of plan to expose it if they're not healthy. So I would love to see what type of things the Bears can come up with. Probably do some more things as far as moving your receivers and doing some different motions to have some miscommunications throughout the course of your defense. I would love to see that. So overall, out of this Bears offense, I just want to see different concepts. I just want to see different elements of an offense that's actually brought out, that actually it takes advantage of the Bears' strengths. Some of your players, like a guy like DJ Moore, who's very fast and very quick, you could do some things to get him the football quickly, and he could do some yuck yards. Darnell Mooney, even though he's questionable with a knee injury, I would have liked to see more if he's able to go. Chase Claypool's your bigger receiver, so you can do some things with him to get him the football quickly and get some positive yards. I just want to see the utilization of the Bears' talent. And Tyler Scott, I would like to see him more take the top off the defense with his speed. Maybe send him some go routes or something. I just want to see something different from this Bears offense. Point blank and period. I just need to see something outside of the basics. Something outside of the basics, because the basics is just not working. You have to change it up and do something different. So Luke Getsy, putting this on you, so is Fields. But we're going to go against this Bears defense going up against Patrick Mahomes and that offense. And to have Kelce back is a big deal, especially going up against the Bears defense that may or may not be without a guy like Eddie Jackson, who is questionable. You still have Khalil Gordon, who is out. So those are two significant pieces to the back end of your defense that are out. Even though the running game for the Chiefs, I'm not going to say it's been the biggest thing, but it's been successful. It's worked when they needed it to work. Now, the big question mark, Isaiah Pacheco, who is questionable going into this ball game. They've used Jared McKinnon in so many ways. Even Clyde Edwards-Helaire, when he's in, they use him. And this Bears run defense is still struggling. So I do expect the Kansas City Chiefs to come out and run the football a little bit more than what they're usually tending to do. Now, we all know this is a pass-happy offense with Mahomes, with Kelce, Valdez-Scantling, who's been a very successful player for them, Sky Moore, and a guy like Rashee Rice. I like some of the things that they've been doing with this offense, even though they lost the first week against Detroit, and that was more against, I think, the talent being out versus them actually being a bad football team. So you're going against a very mobile guy in Patrick Mahomes who can move the pocket, he can escape and make things happen outside of the pocket. So having your coverage whole is going to be key, and I think that is going to be a little bit of a problem for the Bears with Gordon and possibly Eddie Jackson not being available for this ball game. Now, one thing I did see from the Bears defense last week is they got some pressure on Baker Mayfield. Now, even though they didn't really get home and get sacks, they forced Baker Mayfield to roll out and make some things happen. And Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback that can do that, but if you let him sit in the pocket, he is going to destroy you. Even though Patrick Mahomes is one of those guys that can do things on the move, he's not necessarily the fastest guy in the world like a Fields is, but he can do things moving the pocket. He can do things moving. So it's going to be key, I think, to get pressure. Going to be key for your secondary to hold and get your coverage schemes right. And I think they need to get home, honestly. They need to get home and get sacks. Not pressures, sacks. Because, yeah, pressures help, but getting them on the ground and hitting them, what quarterback likes that? And the guy as talented and as great as Patrick Mahomes has been, he's not going to like getting hit and getting sacked. Easier said than done, because they have a solid offensive line with a guy like Joe Thuney and Creed Humphrey in the interior, Jawan Taylor, and a guy like Donovan Smith, who hasn't been bad. It's going to be a tough ask for a Bears defense that already doesn't get pressure much with their front four. Even with Yannick Ngakoue signing and Marcus Walker, you haven't really heard of them because they haven't really been getting home to the quarterback. So they have to get pressure, they have to hold in coverage, and they have to find some way to slow down the running game, because I think the Chiefs are going to come out and run the football a little bit more than what they have in the past, especially with the run defense with the Bears. That's not great, and you let a Buccaneers team run the football on you, and they're not good at going at football. So the Bears, they have a lot of things to cover with this Kansas City Chiefs offense and the weapons that they like to throw at you with Andy Reid and his play calling. So it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to handle. So, but with all that said, my pick for this contest will be the Kansas City Chiefs. I am 1,000,000% positive that the Chiefs are going to win this game, and I'm just being 100% honest. And you guys know I am a diehard Bears fan. Not just it being defending Super Bowl champions and being Mahomes. You have injuries to your offensive line that already wasn't good. You have injuries to your secondary, which I think was partly the strength of your defense, and that's going to be nicked with Eddie Jackson possibly missing out and Kyler Gordon already on IR. And on top of that, you're on the road in Arrowhead, and a lot of these young Bears players haven't experienced an environment like that. It's hard for me to pick the Bears to win this ball game. And to be 1,000% honest with you guys, I don't see it particularly being close. So I'm going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to pick a score of 28-14. I just think once the Bears start to fall behind, it's going to be hard for them to really catch up because the Bears are not built that way. So I think once KC gets ahead, it's going to be a comfortable ball game for them. And I think they come away with a victory at home. 28-14, Chiefs win. But that's all I've got for you guys. Make sure you guys leave this video a like, comment your thoughts on the game down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.